Hello, this is Bill Claudsey jumping into a Legacy Cube draft. And today I'd like to talk about forcing. Generally, you don't want to be forcing in draft, but Cube is kind of a different animal. If you can identify an archetype that's underdrafted, you might be able to decide on going into that archetype pre-draft, sort of. And one that I've found to be underdrafted is black-red. This iteration of the cube is a little different than other ones, and they didn't really reduce the power level of that. So in a pack like this, where there's no clear most powerful card, I'm just going to take cards that would do well in some black-red strategy. And we'll see how it goes. Cube is a bit different than other draft formats because every card is at least decent, and it can often support multiple decks of the same archetype. But here I like Hymn to Turok. The overall power level is just pretty nice. 2 mana to possibly destroy someone's hand outright. And that doesn't mean you have to be in anything super specific, or if you see a super strong card, you can just pivot into another archetype. But it helps break the tie, at the very least. So I'm going to follow this up with a Reanimate. Black-red isn't traditionally the strongest reanimation colors, but as far as power in the Legacy Cube goes, Reanimate is up there with the best thing you can be doing. And even though I'd like to try out red-black, if the cards roll in a different direction, like blue-black, that is definitely an option. If we get really lucky in this pack, we could wheel something like Necromancy, Dark Confidant, although that's pretty bad with some reanimation targets, and Terminate, Thundermaw Hellkite, Phyrexian Metamorph. All of those would be pretty good with what we have so far. Okay, Chandra, Reckless Bushwhacker as the red options. Liliana is a nice one. Pretty good if you can sacrifice some creatures. Bone Shredder and Doomblade, they're alright. The Liliana here has a little bit higher payoff in my estimation. Among the other strong cards in this pack, Electrolyze, Daze, and Sakura Tribelder. Daze isn't for everyone, but Sakura Tribelder is just always going to be great. I'm going to take Liliana here. And Pia and Kiran Nalaar versus Inferno Titan. These options are a bit better than Sarkhan. Sarkhan doesn't do that much from behind, like killing a creature and then dying. The plus doesn't really protect himself. It's an aggressive card. It's close to other 5 mana dragons. Crux of Fate, some other interesting things. But yeah, here I'm deciding between Pia and Kiran and Inferno Titan. Inferno Titan's pretty nuts. It is one option for a reanimation target, but Pia and Kiran's also great for certain reanimation and even sacrifice strategies. I'll go with the Inferno Titan. Okay, speaking of sacrifice strategies, Greater Gargadon is a nice sacrifice outlet. Sometimes you can pull together a Blood Artist combo or something like that. And there's different ways to go. The other consideration here is Whip of Erebos, which I don't get the option to play with so much, but it could be pretty powerful. The fact that you can't recur the creature more than once with this makes it a little weaker, and I don't expect it to be taken super early. I'm just going to take this Greater Gargadon over the Whip and Avalanche Riders, which is also a nice one. Okay, in this pack, there's a couple options. Underworld Connections could be some card advantage, but it's a little slow and clunky. Asylum Visitor has Madness for whatever that might help us with. Mutavault and things like that, Threads of Disloyalty. Thalia is good. Mirari's Wake can generate a ridiculous amount of mana. I'll take this Asylum Visitor. Hellbent, draw a card, lose a life. For both players, sort of. But you're the one drawing cards, losing life. Alright, Kakusho, Nightveil Spectre, super devotion to black, but kind of hard to cast if you're splashing a different color than blue. And Zealous Conscripts. Well, the Zealous Conscripts do work well with Greater Gargadon. You steal their thing, you get to sacrifice it. And it's just going to be amazing to steal any kind of permanent, Planeswalker. There are some nice ones in the set. Okay. Hellrider, Stoke the Flames, Hypnotic Spectre. Hypnotic Spectre is kind of cool, but it's a little hard to hit with. It's a pretty fragile 2/2 flyer. Stoke the Flames isn't exactly what I'm going for, but Hellrider could be great here if we do end up getting some tokens and things. Haste is nice. Ooh, okay, we get 2 cards back. Ashenmoor Gouger and Dreadbore. Both of these kind of have their place. The Gouger is more aggressive. There are a lot of value planeswalkers that this can deal with. So that's a tough one. I'm going to take the Dreadbore because it has some pretty good upside. Terminate here as well. I wonder what is better between Terminate and Thundermaw Hellkite. If we go in a more aggressive direction, the Thundermaw Hellkite could be a strong finisher. Dark Confidant is a little weak when you're playing 8 drops and 6 drops. And Terminate is wonderful. But I'm going to take the Thundermaw Hellkite here. And follow it up with Chandra. That's the other thing. If you do commit to like 2 colors, and one of them's not there, well, you'll get a bunch of... you'll at least get the signal if one of the colors is open. You could possibly switch into monocolored. Well, now I'm regretting not taking the Terminate because Sarkhan is kind of a good replacement for the Hellkite. And we wheel Avalanche Riders. Alright, so our early picks were in black. The black reanimation spells did not wheel. And it's a bit of a shame because we have so many red cards, but they're all 4, 5, and 6 drops. And the red deck really needs that early pressure to get ahead. But that's only pack 1, so we will see what we get past in the second pack here. We're playing against a bunch of Birds of Paradise. Alright, opening pack 2. Immediately, there's Olivia, and Hordling Outburst, and Thoughtseize. All of these are great. The Hordling Outburst is particularly strong with Hellrider and effects like that. Thoughtseize is a nice commitment to our early black. But the way our draft is set up, this Hordling Outburst looks like it'll be the best to start with here. And if Olivia wheels, well, that's just a good sign that red-black is open. So what next? Here's Blood Artist. This is a key piece to a deck with Greater Gargadon and a bunch of tokens. So really happy to pick that up. If that wasn't here, we might have to settle for Firefist Striker, which is a nice way to get through a blocker. So in one of the previous iterations of this cube online, they really pushed vampires for some reason. And there's a lot of bad vampires in Magic's history. So it didn't really work out that well, but now they've kind of laid back on that theme, but they left the best of the vampires like Blood Artist and Olivia. people still avoid these colors because of bad memories, I guess. But they not only did they keep the power in black and red, they kind of reduced the power of other colors. You don't have so many artifact ramp spells, you don't have so many two-card combos. Speaking of two-card combos, though, Kiki-Jiki appears here, and that'll be great with Zealous Conscript, one of the 4 combos with this guy. And there's other good combos with it, like Hellrider, just doubling up on the attack damage, Avalanche Riders, kill a land every turn. It's pretty good here. At this point, cutting Sarkhan is reasonable. Ooh, Koth? Koth is just about the best thing you can be doing in a red aggro deck, except playing cards on curve, so we don't have these 2-drops and 3-drops that we need. For that reason, it might be right to take this Chandra's Phoenix, but I'm going to risk it here. I'm going to take the powerful Koth and see if we can't pick up some more stuff later. Ah, here we go. Bitter Blossom. A perfect token generator and a really easy way to finish out a game with Hellrider. So that is amazing to pick up. We'll have to keep an eye out for fixing because, yeah, we have such heavy red and such early black. Banefire. I don't love fireball effects in Cube for some reason, but I guess they are a way to finish a game. Alright, what are we going to get next? Active Aggression, Steal Their Thing Duplicant, Damnation, not really what we want to play against. Kiln Fiend could be good. It's instants and sorceries. We don't have that many of those. Dreadbore, Hymn, Reanimate, Hordeling Outburst. It doesn't seem all that reliable. We just don't need all these like 5-drops. And Active Aggression is interesting though. This is an instant speed steal a creature. Well, if our opponent's playing some kind of Kiki-Jiki combo card, we could steal that and kill them. Okay, and we get a perfectly reasonable Stagger Shock here. I do like Goblin Dark Dwellers. It is super powerful. We don't have that many things to recur with it, a couple nice ones. But it's also 5 mana, and we really have a lot already to do at 5 mana. So I'll take the Stagger Shock here. This unassuming card. 4 damage for 3 mana is pretty much where you want to be. Sometimes, enough of those effects and you'll just destroy your opponent. Wow, Keranos. This is one of the strongest cards just possible. It's so hard to deal with, being indestructible and not a creature, both for most of the time. And then every turn you're just lightning bolting things and drawing cards. Really hard to beat this card. For us, Splashing Blue is going to be harder than just taking a pretty reliable 1-drop that can deal with things. And back to here. Assemble the Legion. It's another hard thing to splash, but it does fit the theme of this deck. The Firefist Striker is back. I'll take it. We have so many token generators that Battalion will nearly always be on. And sometimes that's all you need to get in the last 4 damage to be lethal. So this pick is between Mishra's Factory. It is resilient to wrath effects and such things. And we're only 2 colors, but still our mana requirements are kind of high. Let's take the Pillar instead. It's something to do early. And my goodness, I guess we cut these colors hard, or people just really don't like these colors. But what to take here? Vampire Hexmage or Chandra's Phoenix? I'm going to go with the Phoenix. All three of these cards have upside, but what are you going to do? You just got to take what fits best. So that was 2 packs. Wow. We could probably be in a white-red deck at this rate. Alright, this is going to be a close pick. Mogg War Marshal and Blood Crypt. But it's not all that close because we have a lot of effects that are replaceable at 2 mana now. A lot of effects that are just better than the War Marshal. So, for mana's sake, Blood Crypt is just exactly what we need. And I'll take that before an off-color fetch. It makes off-color fetches better. So that is exactly what we need right now. Collective Brutality. This is a new one. It does a lot. We do have a random card that's good to discard in the Asylum Visitor. Plus, we could get some reanimation targets in the graveyard. Mainly, though, we need this 2-drop. This guy's great, Lightning Mauler. A couple of our cards already have haste, but imagine attacking with Inferno Titan the turn you play him. That's a lot of damage. Okay, well here, Gray Merchant is kind of cool, but we're not a strictly Devotion to Black deck, so it gets a lot weaker. Murderous Cut is pretty good. We lost out on that Terminate, so this is a nice instant speed removal spell. Fairly reliable. And Falconwrath Gorger, I wonder if this is okay as something to do on turn 1. Probably, it's probably good enough. We really don't have much to do on turn 1. That's interesting. I didn't really think about it at the time, but Olivia did not wheel. So someone else just might have cut Olivia, and it's not uncommon for someone to play 4 or 5 colors in Cube. Vraska. Oh, I love seeing this card. Not going to be for this deck, though. Lava Claw Reaches helps fix, and Siege Gang Commander is a nice combo with a bunch of things. Kiki-Jiki makes a bunch of tokens for Hellrider. Since we're already at 25 pretty strong playables, I'll go for the land. And Splinter Twin. Yeah, so now we have 2 ways to activate the Infinite Zealous Conscript. It also works pretty well with Inferno Titan, Hellrider, and some other stuff. It works with legendary creatures, so I guess you could put it on Liliana and then sacrifice the new one that you put in and flip her. It's kind of interesting. Not much else here. There's Inquisition of Kozilek, but I'll take another combo card. Chaos Warp deals with anything. And another sweet dragon. We don't need Stormbreath Dragon. If we needed another dragon, we could put in Sarkhan. So, we could cut a really strong card like Dictate or Sphinx's Revelation. I'll cut the Dictate. Bruna. And Porphyros. Yeah, that's got to be it here. We've got the Bitter Blossom, we've got Kiki-Jiki, we've got all sorts of good stuff that works well with Porphyros. At this point, we need a lot of cuts. I'm thinking about cutting Chandra here, put in the Chainwalker. Mogg War Marshal is back. Cut Active Aggression. Could think about cutting a bunch of these heavy black cards early so that we only play the really good stuff, like Blood Artist, Bitter Blossom. Outpost Siege, interesting. We don't need Gilded Lotus, although it's surprising to see it this late. Disfigure might be a good one for the sideboard. Searing Spear, sure, solid. This is 22. I guess we could add a little bit more back in now. I like Active Aggression. The instant speed. It's only 4 damage to you if you steal their creature. For the cheap cost of 3 mana. Alright, I'm starting to get behind this deck. Splinter Twin with Avalanche Riders, some dragons. Maybe we can put in this Sarkhan now that we're mostly a red deck. It is a little bit more removal. And we don't really have a super combo with Reanimate. It does work well with a bunch of opponents' things, and I guess it could help make the Kiki-Jiki thing work, but that's alright. So, turned into mostly a mono-red deck with a Porphyros late game. Inquisition of Kozilek. Or Cutting Reflector Mage. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. They're both pretty good. And we sniped the Sphinx's Revelation. Yeah, pretty excited to use this Blood Artist and all our tokens. We don't have another good way to sacrifice things, but often it just works like they're at 4 life, you attack with 4 creatures. It doesn't matter if they block all 4 or let them through, they're just dead. Unless they're blocking with O4s or something. Alright, how many spells did we end up with? Not spells, but like instants and sorceries. I'm looking at this Kiln Fiend, if that's going to be any good. Not that many. 3. Chandra's Phoenix gets a little worse because of that. We could put Chandra in there. Makes this Phoenix a little better. I was trying to say Phoenix. That's not right. Gorger's a little weak, but it fits the curve nicely. I'm not going to worry about this white, even though some of it's pretty good. We just don't want to be in 3 colors with this little fixing. Alright, so low on black. We don't need too many more of these just random beaters in black. Fireball. Searing Spear. Yeah, and all the cards in our sideboard are kind of replaceable, so let's see what we're really dealing with here. I do like our 4-mana Planeswalkers. Chandra has, some card drawing potential. This looks like it could be a 16-land deck. It's always a little bit scary to go down to 16. But, I mean, we top out at a 6-drop. We do also have some mana sinks, like Porphyros can pump up our creatures. That's about it, I guess. Chandra's kind of a mana sink because drawing stuff. Inferno Titan is pretty good as well. Yeah, 16 too few. Too few lands, I wonder. With this curve, we have so many 4-drops, I think we have to go to 17. And that means making a cut. What to cut? Yeah, I guess this is kind of a 1-drop. I want to keep Splinter Twin in. It just combos with Hellrider, Zealous Conscripts, to a lesser extent Thundermaw Hellkite. It definitely works well with Inferno Titan. Avalanche Riders. even greater Gargadon. You could get another big guy in there. Stagger Shock. Yeah, this is really interesting. I don't know what to cut. Maybe it is Splinter Twin. Because, like, all the stuff we cast, all the stuff we want to copy with Splinter Twin is already costing 5 or 6 mana. So this is kind of like our 7-drop. I could see cutting that. Color will play like 5 black sources. Something like this. And that's plenty of red. We do have a lot of red, though. It would be nice to be able to hit a turn 2 Bitter Blossom from time to time. But I think 5 mana is plenty to do that in this deck. Alright. So this is the experiment. Can we do well while sort of forcing a color? And I think this turned out pretty well, so let's see how it works out in some matches.